We've got hour number 2 coming up in just a second. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about making gold or silver legal tender. And some states have already done this. Texas is on the path to it now. I've been talking to you about the situation with our dollar for a while and been telling you that you can't let this UCC bill pass in your state. You can find out all about it at glennbeck.com. It's a little bit wonky, but it will pave the way for the central bank digital currency, what's called CBDC. It cannot pass. It cannot pass. There is something else that is going on, and I think Utah may be the only state that has this done. There may be a couple of states that has this done. Texas is now coming on board. In fact, this idea, I think, kind of was hatched on one of our shows here on Blaze TV, Economic War Room. They are now putting in front of the Texas House legislation that will make gold coins and silver coins legal tender. That's a big deal. I want you to listen to this, support it in Texas, and then try to get it going in your state as well. We do that in 60 seconds. If you wake up every day feeling like you just got hit by a truck, if you have aches and pains that control almost everything you do, I know what it's like, and I spent years fighting my pain, mostly unsuccessfully. But by the time I got around to trying Relief Factor, I had basically hit rock bottom, and I was, I didn't think that there was any hope left of actually getting out and having a pain-free day. Well, my wife made me try Relief Factor, and I did, because I listened to my wife, and my wife is, well, she wasn't as wrong as she usually is. Oh, my gosh. My wife was right, as she almost always is, and I take it every day. And I am out of pain. And it is a godsend to me. I got my life back. Would you just try it, please, for 3 weeks? 1995 trial pack, not a drug, developed by doctors. Hundreds of thousands of people have ordered Relief Factor. 70% of them go on to order more month after month. ReliefFactor.com. 800, the number 4 relief. 800, the number 4 relief. Get the 1995 3-week quick start. ReliefFactor.com. 800, the number 4 relief. Relief Factor. Feel the difference. Okay, we have a Texas state senator on with us. His name is Brian Hughes, and Texas has now introduced legislation in the House and the Senate that could make gold or silver legal tender. Senator, welcome. How are you, sir?
Good. Having a great day. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Okay, so tell me where this bill is, what it exactly does, and why it's important.
Several years ago, Texas established its own gold bullion depository.
Thank God.
The state of Texas taxpayers, own a lot of gold investments, and we were concerned it was being stored in New York and other places, and so we wanted our own bullion depository. Along with that, we wanted to have the option of trading in gold and silver, and so we've had the bullion depository established for several years, and now Senate Bill 2334 that I filed, and there's a companion in the House by Representative DeRazio, will allow Texas to establish a gold-backed digital currency. So we're talking about currency and backed by gold, a digital currency issued by the state of Texas.
So wait. You kind of lost me on this. Why is it digital?
The idea about digital is to make it practical so that folks can use it in commerce. Of course, tied to gold, real currency backed by gold, not fiat money. And this is about the state of Texas making this available. There's also concern about what the feds may be doing, and this is a defense mechanism against that.
Okay, so hang on just a second. First of all, have you seen the UCC bill in Texas yet? Has it gotten to Texas? And are you guys...
Not.
Okay, can you keep your eye out for that? Because that is laying foundational work for digital currency from the Fed. The idea that this is digital does make it easier to use, but what stops the state of Texas from gathering the information and doing basically, I'm not saying you guys would, but you start things like this and then somebody else gets in charge and you got the same problem. What stops you from doing what the Fed wants to do, which is control that money?
This is something we're treading very lightly with because we have an eye on what the feds are doing, the very thing you're describing. And Texas, we believe, needs this to defend our people against what the feds are up to. That has a lot to do with it. Of course, safeguards put in place, and I think we all agree that the government closer to the people is more responsive, more accountable. And so the states should be the ones doing this, not the feds.
Have you been into our repository, Texas?
I have not.
I would really like to take a tour of that. I mean, I remember talking to Rick Perry, and I said to him early on, you got to get your gold back. This is when I was in New York, got to get your gold back. And he said, we're working on it. And I thought for sure there was no way Texas was going to get their gold. And we did. And then we built, from what I understand, it is one of, if not the safest place in Texas and one of the most incredible repositories in the world. That's what I've heard.
You know, Glenn, when we passed the bill, we thought about maybe putting it at the Alamo, which would be appropriate and symbolic. It just
right.
didn't work physically. And so you're right. It makes sense. Texas needed to do it. You proposed it. Kevin Freeman, who I know works with you a lot, pushed this for a long time and has a lot to do with the bill we're working on now on the gold-backed digital. But you're exactly right. Texas has her own gold bullion depository.
So this is kind of like the Glint MasterCard.
That's the idea. As you know, make a transaction with that, and it calculates the exchange rate and does it for you. The difference with the Glint MasterCard, of course, is that you have to deal with capital gains, right, since it's not currency.
Correct.
So our goal is to get the benefits of both.
I thought that it said in the Constitution states cannot produce their own currency.
Interesting. It says that they can make gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1. And so there's some litigation about this. Not much has been determined about this, but there's at least one U.S. Supreme Court indicating that gold certificates, so not the coins, but gold certificates issued by a state bank are legal tender. We don't doubt as this moves forward there'll be litigation. The feds aren't going to like it, but things are pretty dire, as you of all people know. So we want to make sure Texas has every possible defense. Okay,
so how do you get people involved? What do you need them to do?
Thank you so much. So Senate Bill 2334, House Bill 4903. They've both been filed. They'll be moving it to committees very soon. And so folks in Texas can let their legislators know how they feel about those bills. And, of course, we want input. A lot of folks are concerned about the digital aspect, as you raised. Again, we want to make sure we have a defense against what the feds are doing and just real money, gold-backed currency, real money with real value in times like these.
That's great. I appreciate it. There's a reason I'm glad I live in Texas is you have your own gold, and it can stand. Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Bye-bye.